Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Political Living Room. I am Karen. This is my living room. I have got my San Pellegrino Aranciata as my beverage for the evening. And thank you so much for stopping by and joining me in a little political discussion. Here we go. So what are we looking at here? Well, thanks to End Wokeness, we are going to check out a video of a group of people looting a Home Depot. Looting? What do I mean by looting? I mean they're running into the Home Depot and running out with a whole lot of stuff. Now, generally, when we say looting, we think of the lawlessness that ensues after there's been some disaster, a major power outage, a hurricane, flood, earthquake, something like that. So was there an earthquake here? No. Flood? No. Hurricane? No. Power outage? Nope. Lights are on. There are also people standing at the cashier waiting to do things the old-fashioned way. And by that I mean paying for the things they're going to take out of the store. This group of people runs in, grabs some shit, and runs out. We see it all the time. It's becoming a common occurrence. What is going on? Why are the Democrats allowing our society to collapse like this? Actually, they're not allowing it. They're facilitating it. Why are the Democrats putting laws in place that make this kind of behavior damn near unprosecutable? I really don't know. I have my theories, and we'll talk about that later in the video. But let's take a look at what we're talking about. Here we go. Let's see some looting.
It's spraying, I got a full teeth.
Is that a sip? Yeah.
How did they even get that?
Yeah, hey.
Okay. Hold on. There we go. Enough of that. So, as you can see, there are people standing online paying and watching these individuals run in, grab the shit, and run out. There was even an employee in the Home Depot apron videotaping the whole thing. Now, what is this? And I just have to say, when I see things like this, I find it disturbing and also demoralizing on a certain level. We are in the midst of some pretty serious inflation, and law-abiding people have to pay for things. Back in the old days, criminals did not steal right in front of your face. They tried to be discreet. And there was theft prevention in the stores. People had security guards, or they called the police, or they had a panic button if something went wrong. And there would be a panic button under the cash register. They pressed the button to summon the cops. No more. And what is the message here? What is the message here? Apart from the criminals, like, do whatever the hell you want, whenever you want, it doesn't matter. But what is the message to law-abiding people? Because there are no consequences here. Now, I'm not about to go knock over a damn store, but I could see how, if you were a young person with a certain turn of mind, and let's say that your material circumstances were slightly less than comfortable, you might see this as an opportunity to finally get yours instead of being a sucker, getting paid crap, and still not having anything. So by passing the laws like the one we're going to talk about in a moment, the Democrats and the progressives are actually facilitating the spread of lawlessness. Because when kids see this, They see people spending money, and they see people picking up stuff and running out. People picking up stuff and running out look like they're having a good time. And they're famous. So, as I said, if you were a kid of a certain turn of mind, what would you want to do? Alrighty, so let's just take a look. We're going to pop this out at the California legislation that permits this. Now, this is SB 553. So let's just get a little bit of history on this thing, shall we? And this is from a NEWSWEEK article, and this bill has passed since this article was written. Bill to stop employees confronting shoplifters passed by California Senate. Now you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute. This doesn't say it's okay to steal. It just says that the employees are no longer compelled to confront shoplifters. Right. And so that removes a level of accountability, doesn't it? Then you don't have to hire a security guard. So saves money in the short run. I mean, in the long run, people are going to stop going to the damn store and just order everything online, because if you're a paying customer, who wants to be confronted by that nonsense? So does it protect employees? No, it doesn't, because it helps the business go out of business, which helps the jobs go away. So in the long run, it hurts employees. And it also eliminates a job for people who would actually be able to protect the store in some kind of tangible way. But let's just take a look at this. Here we go. It says, lawmakers in California are hoping to push through controversial legislation that would ban retail staff from stopping thieves stealing from their stores. Senate Bill 553, which was submitted by State Senator Dave Cortese, has been passed by the state Senate and will now progress to policy committees in the state assembly. And as I said, it did become law. Cortese hopes the proposed law will prevent workplace violence and protect staff from being forced by their employers to step in during robberies. So look at what it does. Look at what it does. It says that the staff in the store don't have to confront the dangerous, possibly armed and deadly shoplifter. So it's a good thing for the employees. It ensures their safety. You know what else it ensures? That shoplifters can run into a store and know that no one's going to confront them. And I also would have to ask Mr. Cortese, was there a thing a while ago when, let's say, somebody working at Walmart or whatever, let's say some middle-aged woman or some young girl, maybe it's her first or second job, where they were actually confronting shoplifters, or where they were forced to confront shoplifters? Somehow or another, I would think that the pay that Walmart employees, or even any retail employees, because those jobs don't pay all that well, I don't think they were really running up on the shoplifters in the first place. I think what they were doing, possibly, is finding a male staff member and saying, hey, look. I'm just saying. I never worked retail, but I can imagine that if I were doing that, that's exactly what I would do. I'm not confronting any damn shoplifter, because generally they're male. And if they're not, they're probably armed with knives and guns, and I'm, getting paid $9, $10 an hour. It's not worth my life. So I think this is a law supposedly solving a problem that didn't exist. But as I said, what it does do is it removes a level of consequence. So if the employee is now not allowed to confront the shoplifter, then there's no consequence. You don't have to worry about humiliation. You don't have to worry about being called back into the store. For people who want to do this, it just makes it easier for them. All right, let's keep going. But some store bosses are furious about the plans, with the California Retailers Association mocking the move as an open invitation for thieves to come in and steal. Exactly. The political wrangling in California comes just weeks after Home Depot security guard Blake Mose, 26, was shot to death during an attempted robbery in Pleasanton, California. Other cities in the state are also facing their own problems as they attempt to deal with lawlessness. The way to deal with lawlessness is not to encourage more lawlessness. The way to deal with lawlessness is to put motherfuckers in jail and keep them there. That's how you deal with it. There is another proposed law in California to redefine felony. Previously, if you stole $450 or more worth of merchandise, that was considered a felony. Now they want to raise it to $950. I kid you not, because of inflation. How about lowering it to $10 and put motherfuckers in jail? Shocking, right? How about requiring that stores have security staff who are armed? But it's California. So, listen. Just like the UK likes to reward pedophiles, it seems like the United States really likes to reward shoplifters and thieves of other types. All right. So let's learn a little bit more about this lawlessness bill, shall we? Okay. So if you want to take what you want, maybe we should call it the Take What You Want bill. So it prevents employers from mandating workers to confront shoplifters. So what that's really doing is allowing, or it's helping the worker to lose their job. Because if you got no inventory in the store, you do not have a store. If people are afraid to come to the store because you have these miscreants running in, grabbing shit and running out, they're not going to go to the store. If people are demoralized because they're watching theft happen right in front of their faces and they're like, why does nobody give a shit? Then people will not come to your store and you will not have a store. Okay, let's go a little further. So there were various iterations of this bill, and let's take a look at what the legislation actually says. So the people of the state of California do enact as follows. This is section 1. And any employer whose employee has suffered unlawful violence or a credible threat of violence from any individual that can reasonably be construed to be carried out or to have been carried out at the workplace may seek a temporary restraining order and an order after hearing on behalf of the employee and at the discretion of the court, any number of other employees at the workplace, and if appropriate, other employees at the workplaces of the employer. So basically, and this is it's very wordy, and there's a lot of confusing language. This is one of the more what's the word I'm looking for? It's one of the more confusingly written bills that I've seen in quite some time. So what this provision of the bill does basically says, again, if you suffer workplace violence, no prosecution, no arrest, but you can get a restraining order. You can go to court and get a restraining order against someone who commits an act of violence against you in the workplace. So it decriminalizes the violence. What it also says to employees is, if you confront this person while they're going about the very important business of stealing and actually destabilizing society and making it less likely that you be employed. So if you take any steps to restore order in this disordered situation, and that person commits an act of violence against you, you got no recourse except a restraining order. I mean, shit, what do you want? What do you want? I mean, hey, restraining order. That'll stop them, or even if it doesn't, who cares? Because they're a criminal and they're allowed to do whatever they want. You working person that's actually still working for your money and risking your safety by working in retail where people are allowed to loot with impunity, you don't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And what it also does is it places the employer in a very strange position. Because if the employer says, if you see somebody shoplifting, you either have to confront them or stop them, or you have to intervene in some way. That could be construed as the employer putting the employee in a dangerous situation, and now the employer can be sued by the employee for trying to preserve his inventory. So the thieves can just come in and take whatever the hell they want. And the most you can do is get a restraining order. Or you can sue your boss, who will then fire you, and you will have no job. Oh my, I just can't. All right. Now, I have one final question about this. And this is really a question. I do not know how to answer this question. In this video that we saw, most of these people had their faces covered and they had their whole body covered, and you couldn't really see them. But in other videos that I've seen where this kind of chicanerous nonsense takes place, you can see that these are people of African descent. And my question is, why are Black people doing this? I really don't know. I do not understand it. And I have a further question. Because you see this in the media so much, right? This is common at this point. One of the things that has always perplexed me about the Black community is that Black folks, or a certain segment of the Black community, are willing to accept the racist portrayal of all of us as criminals. Why is that? As I discussed in a previous video, 94.6% of Black women have never been incarcerated. 74.4% of Black males have also never been to prison. So the majority of Black people are not criminals. However, we accept this. Now, I'm not saying that these people were Black. I couldn't tell, okay? But we accept the media portrayal of ourselves as criminals. And then you have Black folks engaging in criminality. As I said, the majority of Black people are not running around knocking over stores. That is not who, in my experience, Black people are. And yet, you cannot deny that this is behavior engaged in by people in the Black community. And I just do not understand why so many people in the Black community choose to behave in this way and thereby harm all of us. Because when this kind of crap happens, people look at me and expect the same thing from me. And it makes me very, very angry. I cannot stand it. I despise that. So what is going on? Seriously, folks, what is going on? All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you for hanging out with me and having our political discussion. And I will see you in the next video. And until then, have a great, great night. I'll see you later.